Let's tie a bead head CDC pheasant tail. This is a great fly, especially on the Little Red River here in Arkansas. You can fish it in a dead drift or on a swing like a wet fly. The materials on the pheasant tail are similar but tied on in different ways. This particular variant uses CDC puffer feathers, 2 of them, which works well in this area. Tie your base on. This is a rust-colored brown thread, so wrap your tag around your thread and then continue wrapping your thread from front to back, and you'll stop just past the point of the hook. We're going to trim the tag. Now we're going to lay about 4 fibers of pheasant tail on the top of the hook. Notice I'm holding each side of the hook with the feather on top. Then we're going to do a couple of loops. Now we're going to tie we're using red ribbing. And before I do that, notice I'm lifting that feather up with my thread. And then we're going to wrap it around, and you'll see that kind of hold the feather up. Now we're going to put a couple of loops on with the red. Now the method I'm using here is a little different than what you'll see on some other channels. I do it this way because I always want to go the same direction with my materials and my thread. So now we're wrapping the feathers, the pheasant tail feather, around the hook. We're going to go about 3/4 of the way up, or 2/3 toward the head of the hook. And we're going to start running out of pheasant tail feather. So when we're getting near the end, I'm holding it down with my finger. Now I'm taking in the slack from the thread, and we're going to wrap it around the tag. Here, you'll see this shortly. There you go. I'm going to wrap it around the tag, back and forth a couple of times to secure it. You know, and this is a technique we use just about on every fly that has material. Now, we're going to lift up those tags, and we're going to snip them off. And then wrap a few more loops of the brown thread on there. Again, going the same direction. Notice I was going the same direction as the thread with the pheasant tail. Same thing with the red ribbing. Now we're wrapping it across the top with a noticeable gap in between. You know, they don't have to be perfectly symmetric, but it looks better if they are. Then we get to the end of the pheasant tail feather. We're gonna take in the slack from the thread again, wrap it around to secure it, and snip off the tag. We're going to pitch it down a little bit and go forward. Lay your turkey hurl on top and then loop it around a few times. Then we're going to bring the thread back to where the hurl starts. We're going to wrap it around 10 or 12 times. You know, the amount you put on is going to really be determined by how thick the particular hurl is and how long it is. And frankly, the main purpose is to hold the feathers out. Notice I'm bringing the thread back across the hurl, and that helps hold it on. And it's across the top, so it can't be seen. Snip the hurl. Then we're going to lay one of the CDC feathers on top at an angle. We're going to tie the end on, or the base on. Now we're going to tie the other on the bottom, base toward the front, and then we're going to put a loop around the base. And normally I would flip the fly over here, but because I've got the camera, I'm not. So this is a bit awkward. It'd be easier for you if you flipped it over. Okay, so now I tied that base on. We're gonna pull the feathers back, tie a few more loops around there. Puff the feathers out, make sure they're concentric all the way around. It's looking good. Now it's time to tie the final whip knot. So we're going to put about 3 or 4 loops with a whip knot on. And then, as always, when you're taking it out, keep pressure on that thread so it stays tight. Pull it snug, don't break the thread, and now snip it close without snipping any fibers. And you can put a drop of Zap-A-Gap super glue right behind that head to help secure that herl as well. So there you go. That's how you tie a CDC bead head pheasant tail.